So, hi everybody. Today we have a guest. Her name is Lucia Gabriela, and she's a life coach. She helps people to figure out their purpose through mastering their body embodiment and things like that. And she has some kind of certain techniques which um, helps you to go deeper into your own self and figuring out, making sense out of your life and things like that. And today, she's gonna share her journey of the particular path of Tantra, and at the end, we are gonna check out her Tantric chart, how the energy is being distributed in her birth secret or whatsoever. So, yeah, Lucia, would you you could start actually like. What you do, how do you get into this thing, and what is that you are looking forward, and how do you feel the people should be evolved, and your work is how helping your work is to evolve them into some particular dimensions or their life and things like that. And can you just elaborate this?
Thank you. Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having me in your uh, podcast, and also really excited and very curious about the process of the Vedic charts. I'm really interested about that. I am I'm a relationship and intimacy coach. What I do in that area is helping individuals who have gone through toxic relationship in the past, to have experienced emotional sexual trauma, to uh, shake up and reclaim who they truly are, and attract the amazing partner that they desire in their life, to create conscious relationship. At the same time, I am a tantra facilitator, and that allows me to create a sacred space for individuals, uh, free of judgment, free of shame, free of guilt and fear, to create a space for individuals to walk in the path of alchemy and transformation and rediscover who they are as individuals and as powerful beings, energetic beings. And with that being said, to learn to be the master of the energy, masters of that sensuality, masters of the sexual energy, and masters of the creations. As you know, the Tantra path has a lot to offer to individuals when it comes to alchemy, and I'm really excited about that. And at the same time, I'm also a emotional somatic therapist, where I help individuals to release the emotional blockages that they have in their body, that are stuck in the body, and it keeps them trapped. And when the body feels trapped, all these different dynamic and mindset get in place and sabotage us. So having a liberated body, an open body, open, allow us to have an open heart and an open mind, because it's all gonna start in congruency with who we are as individuals in a multidimensional realm. So that's what I do when it comes to my work, and I'm really excited about today, to learn your gift of sharing and reading my chart can help me to gain even more clarity with how it is that I can serve better to to the world. Like, what else can I do that it can benefit not just myself or my community, but a lot of people that are watching us, and also a lot of people that need our work right now, that is so needed on these times that we feel like the dark time. I feel chaos, feels like confusion. So what else can we do together to bring more ease and peace and clarity to the individuals through the work and the tools that we have?
So, how many years do you are into this particular kind of training? Like, uh, for instance, how many years? How long you been on the tantra?
Well, I have studied Tantra since I was 15 years old,
Mm-hmm.
after healing cancer in a holistic, natural way.
Mm-hmm.
And I started like my journey of studying Tantra, Kama Sutra back home in Ecuador. and it was all aspect of energetic dynamics, the alchemical part of self. And it's interesting that, you can study, element of any practice. And what I find it important is the integration part of it. So the hardcore integration of my tantra work, or the tantra journey, has been for the past, I would say, 12 years, that I've been like integrating more of the knowledge, the wisdom, the aspect of more energy, and tapping more into, awakening more into my sensual self, my sexual energy, and being more into this journey of healing from within, and purging, so my true, sensual and sexual entity come to the surface. um but it's like, I would say, like, tantra is not just about the aspect of sexuality, but also the alchemy that happened within me. It has been incredible for the past 12 years, I would say, with the integration. So I have joined, like, and study and learn, and got, great information and more wisdom from different mentors and people that are in this journey, on this path. And what I find fascinating is to create a space for, a tantric practice, um, and helping the individuals, or even help myself to be in that kind of space, that kind of surrounding, the void of energy, and allow that to open up what that actually tantra means to you, what it that actually feels like, the aspect of connection. So I would say yes, like, for the past 12 years has been like the more core integration time of my life when it comes to this journey.
So you have designed a space where people can actually experience the deep sense of what exactly Tantra means. Um, yeah, is that what you're saying?
Well, you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah. So you're clear, like what I was asking is that you have designed a space where people can experience what is actually Tantra means, and they can actually um, explore themselves to be become a better being, stuffs like that.
Yes, it's all about who are we in our core, like,
Mhm.
what are we connected, allowing ourselves to connect with the authenticity and of who we are, the authenticity and the power of who we are. And the moment that we do that, we're connecting with source, we're connecting with the universe, with the cosmos, we're connecting with our, whatever you believe on, with God, goddesses, we connect with Mother Earth. So the moment that we're connecting with everything beyond, like, what we live, recognizing who we are, and what are we here for, and what are we are not also.
So you have designed a space. How can you elaborate what is that space is offering? Like, there are diagrams, like there are tantric diagrams, for instance, Kali Yandra, Sri Yandra, like there are 101 yantras are there. I mean, the diagrams, which tantric symbols which we use, does it has that kind of diagrams? Then also there is music which will actually help us to experience some other kind of dimensions, like some kind of Carnatic ragas which will actually take people into some other kind of dimensions. Then kind of smells are there which is being used in tantric practices, and there are some kind of uh, herbs, I mean medicines which is being used that will help people to accelerate their own, um, allowing them to see what is that happening inside of them when things are going around them. Like that medicines are being
Mhm.
used in tantric text which I have studied in I mean the tantric principles which has been actually said in India. So these kind
Mhm.
of things I have studied. So can you elaborate your space? Does it has these kind of things, and how do you design it?
A lot of elemental, of what it seems like very complex itself in the tantra books. Um, and I would say that I am not a tantra master, I'm a tantra teacher, I'm a tantra facilitator, where I use tantra practices to help people to get into the heart, to get into the power of the energy, to help them to be more of the to learn to tap into the energetic being that they are, to become aware of like what it is that is limiting. So if I go like as a tantra master or tantra teacher that some people are, if I go too complex, we will lose people. My intention of facilitating tantra is the simplicity that it can exist within it, and we're living in like in a time that complexity is not a great friend. It's actually it helps us. It can sabotage us. So for me, when it comes to teaching anything that is tantric practices, we go with the basics of it, with the principle, the basic principles of it. You know, um, whatever definition or title it is, we keep it very simple to the aspect of the awareness, self-awareness, observation, self-observation of self, observation of our energy, observation of our emotion, of feelings, observation of like a multidimensional part of ourselves, tapping into connecting with our heart, connecting with the different parts of our own power. Do you know the breathing techniques, um, the movement techniques, the even the aspect of music and sound. So all those are very simple, basic and simple practices that I like to keep them as a focus in the practice to start them in the journey of it. And if individuals desire to go a lot more deeper into more of the wisdom and complexity of Tantra, they can reach out to masters and teachers that they have that level of knowledge and complexity, and they know how to teach that stuff. I feel like in this Western world, especially where I live, it's very important to keep it simple and to keep it available, and and give the opportunity to give people the taste of what tantra could it is for them, not what it is for me, what it is for you, what it is for a tantra master, what it is for anybody, or even a tantra guru, but like what is that like tantra actually represent and means within self, and how can I make that of an embodiment in my life? How can I, especially in the Western world, like how can I make it simple where I can practice it every day of my life? So I hope that that answer your question, because the level of complexity of like this the studies of tantra, as you know, they're big, and we can lose ourselves on that. So I like to keep it simple.
So what is that? Can you explain that simplicity, the level of simplicity which you are keeping? Like, what kind of practice you will offer to a client, and uh, how does it feels like? What are you offering? For instance, for
So
example, yeah.
so let's say like the simplicity of it will be the breath work, right? Like one of aspect of learning people to do the breath work. That is just the basic of it. That doing the breath work, and then also to become more aware of the consciousness of embodiment of sensuality in the body, like awaken the senses. You know what it is that able to awaken the taste, the smell, the touch, the sight, and the hearing. You know the listening aspect of it, and I feel like awakening of the sense of touch, like conscious touch, because in tantra practices there's a lot of aspect element of touch, like element of connection. And one of the things that when we connect with ourselves in our body and when we connect with others, touch is like really important. So we do aspect of like how can we connect with ourselves through touch. Very very basic and simple. The awareness of like when I'm touching somebody, I am like touching somebody's soul, and not just I'm touching the physical body, but I'm touching somebody's soul. Also the aspect of like connecting through the eyes, connecting through the eye gazing, connecting through the breath, to each, when we do experiences of the breath work, and we're connecting through the energy. I feel like a lot of the what I bring into the table is all about connection with itself and connection with others and connection with earth. um, Another aspect of like tantra principles and tantra practices that I share is like the aspect of sound, working with the sound of each chakra, working with the sound not just with the chakras that we know, the seven system, but also recognizing and becoming aware of the sounds that different chakras of a body have, like for example the sound of a hand, the sound of a feet, the sound of like all different parts of ourselves, a different organ. Uh, so it's connecting with that level of awareness of the sound and the power of sound. So we have breath, we have sound, we have intention. A bigger one is working with intention, as you know, in rituals and tantric practices, and even other practices. Ritual is very important because it creates that sacred space for the practice to be in place. Rituals with ourselves, rituals of self-connection, self-love, self-understanding, um, and then rituals with other individuals of like a deeper connection, even with partners. When we're talking about connecting with partners, rituals of connecting with other partners, and not just on the physical level, but more of the spiritual and more of the energetic level. And a lot of people, especially here in the Western world, that a lot of people look for tantra. It's more about they decide to connect more with themselves at a spiritual experience, more of that physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual connection. They would like to have that. So that's where they reach out to the tantric practices. When it comes to like intimacy, they desire to connect more at the spiritual level, because tantra allow, the practices of tantra allow to be able to be in that level of a spiritual practice, and at the same time incorporate sensuality, sexuality, intimacy, not just with self but with others. And that's just like a very small part of like what tantra is itself.
Yeah, in
That makes
Tantra,
sense?
it's like in Tantra, it's like, some certain, if we see the sexual aspect of the Tantra, it's like the deep, really deep, massive orgasms will actually help us to destroy the sense of body consciousness, which will transcend the mind into something more viable, like god consciousness or whatsoever people say it is like. So but the tantric practices can actually bring into really deep level of orgasm, deep level of sexuality. I mean, the really massive orgasm is not like a common sex which we have in
Yes.
a bedroom or whatsoever. It's like really deep orgasm it can take into people. And if the partner also can come into that kind of level of understanding, it will actually create a deep intimacy. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not kind of love affairs. It's a kind of wisdom affair. The both souls can come into the same level of understanding. So do you take these kind of practices into actual practice, which help people to develop a really deep orgasm, and which helps them to get embodied into their self? And
Yes.
yeah,
Um,
if they are couples, would you help them to get more closer, and will it help them to develop more intimacy? does do you do you do something like that, or is there any result has came out from the experiments you have done? How is it?
when it comes to the aspect of awakening more into the sexual power, into the sexuality, and the or the amazing orgasm, the tantric orgasm that we talk about, that is the most of energy experience, the embodiment of the goddess infinity, in our body, like when we can experience that explosion of expansion and infinity through the tantric practice, through the aspect, through the sexuality. Yes, it is something that it's something that I share, and I share I wouldn't say I teach, but I said like something that I can facilitate for people to get to that level. The one thing is that I would say that I focused on providing the tools and providing the space for individuals to purge what is holding them back from actually experiencing the divinity, the orgasmic divinity within themselves, that they're an explosion in partnership with somebody else. Because one of the things is that I always find that, yes, a lot of people come to us, especially in the Western world, they come to experience a tantra because they hear about orgasmic sex or tantric sex. They hear about all these powerful experiences that we can have with ourselves and self pleasure, or with our partner through the aspect of sexual alchemy. But one of the things that people don't understand is that there's a lot of step, and a lot that had to be purged, and a lot of tools that need to be provided for the individual to be able to fully surrender into that experience, to fully give themselves permission to feel the divinity within themselves and the orgasmic expansion of energy, to really let go of the mind. Because in the path of Tantra, we learn to let go of the mind, let go of the beliefs, let go of the stories, let go, and allow ourselves to be fully an embodiment of our divinity, and like what our body is, a temple. And when we're able to get there, we're able to experience what you mentioned, like that whole deep level of like that sacred, the powerful tantric experience in sex, where it's like, wow, it's like it blows everyone's mind. It's like, whoa, amazing. Even that doesn't have to happen through sex. It can just happen through energetic sex or energetic expansion. Show people to do the work that they need to do to be able to get to that level, that level of presence, to that level of presence and being here in the body of embodiment. So that's what I would say. Like, I go with the simples and the basic aspect of tantra for people to be able to get to that level of I would say advanced practice, because it's not for everyone. As you know, the moment that we desire to go into this advanced practice of this orgasmic expansion of our divinity, of ourself, of our body, that when our body feel connected with the wholeness of the universe and the emptiness of it, when our hearts feel connected with the wholeness and the emptiness, when we are everything at the same time, we're nothing. When we get to that level of expansion and contraction, a lot of things have to happen to get there, and not everybody's ready to get there. A lot of people feel that. I feel like a lot of people want to experience this orgasmic experience of this tantric sex, this tantric orgasmic experience, but they're not ready to let go of what is holding them back. They're not ready to surrender. They're not ready to change the story. You know, they're not ready. They're still holding on to emotional baggage, emotional trauma. And as you know, once we open the portal of sexual alchemy, orgasmic, tantric expansion, a lot of that, whatever we're holding on to, is going to come to the surface for us to transform and heal. That's what, for me, the path of Tantra is a path of the fire. It's a path of alchemy, path of transformation, path of purging what is not us. So the moment that we, in our journey of this, of mastering this orgasmic tantric expansion through sex, it's gonna open up a Pandora box. And if we're not ready to work with the Pandora box and transform and alchemize the ghost that comes out of it, or the monster that come out of it, we go more into trauma, and we go more into the darkness. As you know, like tantra can, if it's not practiced well, with consciousness and awareness, we can go into the dark areas of evolution in the tantra path. So yeah, so like I mentioned, I'm about to provide them what they need to get there. That makes sense?
Yes. Is there any case studies from your 10 to 15 years of experience into this particular field? Like, did you show something which will
Repeat that
actually...
question.
Do you have any kind of case studies? Like, does it change somebody's life, or does it benefit somebody, or is there a story which has happened, which you saw in your 10 to 15 years of tantric journey, which you would like to share? Like, this person has transformed into this way, or this couple has developed this kind of intimacy after some certain practices, something like that. Is there any story which you can refer to?
Oh, stories about like how tantra help people, like couples.
Is there anybody, I mean, a person, your client, a person or a couple, you give training to couples also, right?
Yes, yes.
So
Well, I have beautiful stories with couples when they had been disconnected from themselves, and through tantric practices, and like just a simple basic of like connecting even with just the heart through eye gazing, connecting through the energy, they have been able to understand themselves a lot better, deeper level also, and to see the simplicity and the complexity of each other. Because when we see the divinity within ourselves, and we see the divinity of our partners, um, you know, it has allowed them to have a deeper level of connection that they didn't have before. Also when it comes to like tantric practice, just by the simplicity of facilitating just let's say divine touch, conscious touch, the awareness and awakening of our senses, with a partner. When we're doing that with a partner and we start learning to awaken our senses, we're awakening that, we're awakening touch, and we're awakening these parts of ourselves that we have forgotten in our body, allow us to, when we are in physical presence, or in intimacy, or even sexual intimacy, allows them um, to have that intimacy in a different way, and it's such a more remarkable, incredible, amazing ways of connection and intimacy that they didn't have before, just by sharing the simple principles of a tantric practice or journey that is nothing too complex. And just with the simplicity of it, they're able to enhance their sexuality as well. And then when you share with them and you help them to facilitate more of the awakening of the sexual energy, more awakening of the sensual energy, more awakening of the powerful, the power of self, like awakening of the intentions of restoring whatever they need to restore in their relationship. I would say that when they bring when they bring these practices at home and they do it, their sex life improve. When when that's something that is missing in their life. If not, if sex is not the issue in there, the aspect of communication, um, you know, sometimes, many times, the aspect of purging the emotion that they have been holding back, like anger, resentment, which are big ones. Anger, resentment, frustration toward the partner, uh, through practice, tantric practices, like the simple basic one, like breath, eyesight, like eye gazing, breath, and sound. Just by doing these practices, like the jab jam, um, just by just introducing them to that practice, and learn to be so fully present in that practice and master that. When they take it home, it just brings them a different level of communication and connection at a deeper level. And then when you add the practices of conscious touch, sacred touch, and bringing more aspect of rituals, more aspect of rituals with fire and with water, and bringing different elements into the space. One of the things I love to work with couples is creating a temple, creating their temple of adoration. As you know, in Tantra practices, there's many practices and that talk that invite adoration into the experience. So bringing that very basic, simple element into, which is not just simple, it's simple, but it's so powerful to help clients, individuals, and couples to create a temple of adoration for the relationship, for the experience, for their sexuality, for their love, for their intimacy, and that's what those are the things that I bring into to my practice. Basic and simple and profound and present, and I love adoration, so that's one of my things. I get excited when I talk about it. Right.
Is that?
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, so, so if somebody is listening to this particular podcast, how do you tell them to design the sacred space where they would like to experience the uh, sacred love making? How do you tell them to design that particular space? Which is not the complexity, which does not carries the complexity of the tantra, which is actually is, that is something which is very simple, like they can transcend each other. For instance, a couple, they would like to experience them each other much more intimate way. How do you tell them to uh, design that particular space? What kind of sounds, colors, what kind of smells, and what kind of things would you recommend them to use on that particular space?
Mm-hmm. So one of the first things I invite is to tap into your tantric self, working with the archetype of the wiser self in the realm of tantra that we all have within ourselves. you know um so what I guide them into the journey where they actually can feel the tantric master within themselves, and that tantric master guides them to choose the colors that, if they are the soul colors, the essence and the smells and the elements, the 5 elements that are in their core. Because one of the things that I have found in my journey, especially working with couples and stuff, is that every person has their own language. I would say, like, the golden language. Everybody has their own symbols. Everybody have their own code. And what is powerful is for them to share it with into the experience, instead of me telling them, okay, red is good because red is power, or yellow is this and yellow means that and this means that. it, it I allow myself to create a space where the individual self tap into the tantric master self within, and that's their inner guru that will come out and say, okay, this is like, this is how we interact, this is how we create this temple, this is how we we connect with each other. I can share the simple aspect of connection so they can tap into the inner guru. But it's very simple. I just guide them through that journey, and they it's just amazing to see like what they together they create, what they give themselves permission to tap into their inner wiser self, the inner guru, I would say. And what they create is just amazing. So the asking within self, like, okay, what is the color that I would like to bring into the experience? What is the essence? Would I like to bring rose essence? Would I like to bring frankincense? Would I like to bring lemongrass? Like, what is the smells that I feel like is in my core, in my soul right now, to create this amazing tantric ritual experience? What is all about sacredness and about connection, about intimacy. Like, what are the I would say, like, the material. What is the material that I would like to feel? I would like to feel a little more rough. I would like to feel a little more soft. Like, what it is that it is within me that I desire to experience in this temple, and my partner, what it is within him that he would like to experience and bring into this temple, and then together we co-create. Because one of the things about that I'm aware, um, not just in tantra, but it like in my whole level of work, is that when we come in partnership, it's about we come together to co-create. We come together to add. We come together to create something that is gonna enhance and it's gonna take us into a journey of alchemy, transformation, and evolution, awakening of our consciousness and our soul, not just for ourselves but for the whole humanity. So in the practice itself, for me, is about when I am with a partner, as together, as a powerful being, like, what it is that we are gonna create, and we come from that space. So yeah, I hope that I answered your question. I didn't go into a different tangent.
Yeah. Do you want to share anything else before we are going into your chat?
I'm good, thank you. I'm excited about to hear about you.
Yeah, let's go to your chat actually. I'll just share the screen right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So have you heard about Vedic chart reading before?
Yes, I have one, but it was a very not even basic. It was a friend just read me the Vedic, and I think like it was just like he just told me like 3 minutes of the conversation of this is what it is and this is what's happened. This is what it, and I was like, oh, cool. It was like a mini, like tiny little synthesis of it.
So the Vedic chart is like we have just spoken about the massive orgasm which tantric sexual or tantric love making can bring out.
Mm-hmm.
The massive amount of the orgasmic expansion which the tantric love making can bring out. This is like this is a kind of blueprint that could actually help you to get into that kind of uh, uh, expandable conscious orgasmic experiences. Like
Mm-hmm.
these practices can take you to into uh, that kind of level which is comes from the Atharva Veda and the Saundarya and Vedic astrology, which is like sacred text in Indian system of the understanding of consciousness. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
here your nakshatra is Shravana. Okay, nakshatra is a group of stars which actually define your characteristics. Which the moon was into a particular direction when you are getting birth. In that particular direction, there will be a group of stars. These group of stars will actually define the characteristics of your being. So we are trying to analyze the characteristics of the particular group of stars that is actually connected to your soul as such. Okay, so this is Shravana Nakshatra. So the Shravana is a Sanskrit term which is actually related to hearing ability. So what is this the primary manifestation of this particular nakshatra into your life is like hearing ability. You will be able to hear something much beyond that is what actually the body conscious can bring into. So is there something is happening on you, like is there something is going on, like you are able to hear something? How do you explain your hearing ability?
I'm just processing like what you said. And I was just reading also the practice of Nakshatra yoga. Repeat that question again. Like, how do I?
Okay, Shravana Nakshatra is the nakshatra which is actually related to your hearing ability. Okay, this nakshatra manifest in your life is on the way of hearing ability, what you are able to hear to, what you are able to make sense out of, like which is related to your ear. Okay, so
Here? Mm-hmm.
okay, yeah. How do you explain your hearing abilities? This have you
My
ever
hearing
observed?
abilities.
Yeah.
Um, it's interesting because I would say that when it comes to like the physical, like say like just the 3D physical realm, I have um sometimes I think that they're not like I wouldn't say call them important, but think that they are not uh you know they don't have nothing to do in my life. I don't hear. I kind of like I don't hear them at all. That's interesting because I just don't. Sometimes people can be talking or something, and I just don't hear what they're saying. Like I can understand the language. I can understand like um maybe what they're saying, but I just don't hear. I'm just like it just go like my world goes mute to those people, and I have this tendency to have sharp focus on my hearing to think that it makes my heart on fire. You know, like it's like interesting, they're passionate, but think that they're like not interesting, boring, or even like the heart like maybe I go back to the aspect of complexity, not just with my hearing, with like my physical ear, but also I'm with maybe the way that I hear life in the sense of like if there's something that is too complex or too difficult, I can like I can like mute that whole, and I'm not interested. Um, that's why like I would say that yeah, it's like it just resonates. That my ability to hear, um, you know,
Unmute.
complexity. Yeah, I just unmute. Like I do have, I mute and unmute. Like yes. So I do have that. I call it selective hearing. To be honest, it's funny that you mentioned that because with my partner, we always have my partner even joke about it. She's like, "Oh, she has selective hearing," and it's like it's not like it's just sometimes it's just like not interesting to me or my soul. It doesn't fire me up, so I just mute it. I'm honest with you. That's just like, oh, okay.
So there is something called the nakshatra yoga, which is associated with this particular nakshatra. So this is a practice of Kundalini yoga that will actually help you to evoke the Kundalini Shakti, which we speak in Tantra a lot, like the evoking the I mean, we human beings has extra capability which is beyond our conditioning. So the life force, how active it is in on your body, which actually help you to make more things out of your life. So in the similar passion, there is, we call it as in a tantric concept, we call it as in a kundalini shakti, which is like a coiled serpent on your root of your backbone, that is being resides there. So this particular yoga, this nakshatra yoga, will actually help you to evoke that particular shakti. That video is there in this particular link, which I'll share you after the
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you could actually go through. um you took a printout of the chart which I have shared
Yes,
you?
I have it. Yes, I have the printout. I
Okay.
don't understand anything of it.
We will try to understand that now. Okay.
Okay.
So this is like you have got birth into Shukla Paksha. Okay, Shukla Paksha means is zero moon to full moon day. That there is 30 days, approximately 30 days. It will take a moon to rotate around the Earth. So, see, full moon to zero moon day is Krishna Paksha, and the Krishna Paksha to full moon day is Shukla Paksha. So you have that particular area of your life is being equated to the peacock. Okay, peacock is so so this part of your life is being equated to the bird called peacock. Okay, so the peacock is like the I mean the queen of the birds. You know, it's like so beautiful. So it celebrate life, you know. So basically it has the capability to celebrate life. So this is the your bird which will actually celebrates the life, you know.
Mm,
There is a sort of conditioning which was in your life that uh, uh, your capability or your tendency to experiment something which is beyond your own understanding is actually helped you to come out from whatever you were into. So that is how it's manifest in your life. Can you share what was it like? What was that fear which was holding you back, and that helped you to come out from that? And how do you feel now? How do you see the life now?
Um, that interesting that you mentioned the peacock. It has been a bird that is like it's been resonating with me lately a lot. Even I have a shirt that look like a peacock, like very pretty, and people tell me that I look amazing on that. And it's like that aspect of freedom and the colors are like beautiful and liberating. And yeah, the celebration of it. I do feel that that I have had the, I would say, I have this desire to celebrate life since I was little, but I do have these other parts of me that has felt, you know, have felt so much suffering and so much pain from the world as a very sensitive person I am, and and uh and that has kind of like been the I would say the obstacle for my for me to be celebrating every day. Like sometimes I go my ups and downs, you know. It's like when you talk about like what have been holding back or something like that, it's just those obstacles that being like a sensitive, intuitive person that can feel people's pain and people's suffering. And I don't, I don't let that affect me as much, but I do can see that um, because it is in my, it's in the field. Um, Sometimes it kind of like demean or tune down or dial down the fire of celebration that I have in my soul. I have, I just did an event, um, like I went into a process. I didn't facilitate the event, but I went to a process. And then one of the commitment that I have for myself is to create more joy in my life. And that's aspect of celebration, indeed. So yes, I am in this journey of creating more joy and celebrations in my life every day, even more. Did that answer your question?
It's not a question. That is how it's manifest in your life. I'm just trying.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a tree which is related to your particular group of stars, and this tree is actually presented in India. I don't know whether it is there in the area of
The US.
yeah, I mean in the west. But this tree, what it does is like it will actually resonate with the frequency which you have, which means that you could actually go near to this particular tree and get connected to this particular tree, and you can experience yourself in much more deeper way with this particular tree. I mean, maybe if you bring this particular tree in, I mean, if you can make, if you are like to make a love around this particular tree, it will be like a more intimate relationship.
Mm.
So this is how the group of stars looks like on the sky. So your nature is deva. It's like you have uh, um, uh, the nature of
And that,
god. Hello,
yeah, yeah,
you're asking me something?
yeah. I hear. I see you.
Yeah, okay, fine. So this deva nature is something like which will actually like healing ability. Deva like it's like godly nature. So your birth has godly nature that helps you to empower your own being and empower other being also. um, and guna is rajoguna. Rajoguna is something like um, um, which is like bit a spicy nature you will be having.
Mm.
And your Buddha is Vayu, which means that you would like to get things done very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I have no patience, and like that's one of the things I have to. I'm working on building patience. I have no patience. Uh, of a project to get too long because yeah, I just have no patience. And like every day we gotta work toward a goal or what the project that we doing.
So Shiva, the masculine god of destroyer. I mean, Shiva is the your god. So your side. So see, if you in India there is a concept called Arthanadishwara, which means that half woman and half men. That is how it is. Like the god is half men and half woman because it has no no gender. Okay, so in
Mm-hmm.
that case your side is more masculine rather than that of more feminine. Okay, so it's like you would like you would like to take everything in control.
Yes, I do say like I'm a control freak.
So that is
Remember, I'm a dominant. So when it comes to like my archetype of dominant and submissive, when it comes to tantric kink, I'm more of the dominant control. I'm the one in charge. So I'm the leader in charge, control, authority. Even at home, we don't have a patriarchy. In home, we have a matriarchy, which means I am here. So nothing is done, said, or bought without my consent and permission. So yeah, it's pretty much there. My partners are amazing. They're powerful men, individual, and they have great masculine energy. But when it comes to the aspect of domination and control, I'm very strong in that realm. So you got it right there.
So you have a kapha nature, which means that your health illness will actually, any health issues is happening on you. It's basically because of kapha, and it is like watery things. Like you will be your health system will be sensitive to cold.
Yes. Oh yes. I live in New York for 14 years. I don't know how I did it, but I cannot handle a cold. I live in Florida now in the US, and I don't put AC because I don't like the vent of the cold. Just when I was pregnant recently, I will have cold shower, cold water. I would like to be cold because I was burning for the pregnancy. I don't like the cold at all.
And your god is Vishnu. I mean, the god in the sense, the guardian angel for this particular nakshatra group is Vishnu. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Vishnu is the god of protection. So which means that you, even though you are in struggle,
Mm-hmm.
you would love to protect others, so this is one of the a quality which it will manifest on you. And this is your guardian angel according to Indian mythology, which will understand that is how we are actually understanding this particular spot of energy, like Vishnu.
Mm-hmm.
So you can easily connect with this particular guardian angel, and this angel or this particular consciousness can help you to overcome so many problems in your life.
Yeah, and it's interesting because that is the part of me that is I call it, it will be the Vishnu in here. But for me, it's just like my I would say it's like my priestess archetype, the one that like protect. And I'm like that main reason when I talk about when I do events like in my life, I'm the one that create the space and it must be safe and sacred, free of judgment, free of fear, guilt, or any of that, and be also safe, physically safe. And that's like a very strong, super strong part of me. So you really right on there.
And this is the kriya. There is a breathing exercise after the your particular yoga, which is related to nakshatra yoga, which I've been speaking about. I'll share the video. I mean, you can see those videos in this particular link. After that
Mm-hmm.
yoga, you could actually go for this kriya. This will actually help you to uh, empower yourself. I mean, empower your own kundalini energy in much more interesting way. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nice.
this is the one of the best position which will actually help you to get into more intimate love making. have you
Yeah, that's a
have you
hard
ever
one though.
have you ever
It will be
tried
fine. Yeah, it would be fine if the men were doing the upside down, not the woman. But yeah, I haven't tried that one. It has been I think that I have done something similar like that, but nothing like that. That I can't do that position because I have shoulders. I have injuries in my shoulders from a car accident. So just putting a lot of pressure on my elbows and my shoulders, it would just not be fun. So that position yourself, I cannot do, but I can share with my partner to see something different. Hey, how can we do it where my shoulders are not be killing me, right?
So this is like moon is your birth planet, which is like it will actually bring
Mm-hmm.
it's a motherly quality. You have better motherly quality. Okay.
Yes.
That is a very good thing. So these all these things are about your nakshatra. Now we will go to your chart actually. So in Western astrology, there is only chart basically, but when we look at into, come on, yeah, this is your chart.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how the chart will look like. So Tanu, Moon and Ketu. So Mars and ascendant is on your Tanu Bhava, which means that uh, Mars is on your Tanu Bhava. So the fighting is your, I mean, fighting with the fighting is your inborn quality. You will get angry very easily and you will start fighting so easily.
Repeat that again. Fighting.
Fighting. You will make
Mm-hmm.
problems with people.
Fighting. Me creating fight or me. I would say that I used to be when I was little. I used to fight. Now that I have grown up, like I choose my fight. But yes, I would say that if I am not the person that is gonna um I'm not the person that people can take advantage of by me not standing up. So I wouldn't call it that a fight. Like if somebody come and fight, I will fight back in a sense of like, I will protect and and I will fight back if it's needed. But I am not kind of person that I'm just gonna let people, walk all over me. I am not that, It's like if I, for example, one of the things, this is not a fighting energy, but like let's say, for example, it was in a restaurant and in a Chinese restaurant, and one of the waitresses yelled at the two older women because the menu was that the dinner, started at past 3 and they would get there. Anyway, this woman was yelling at them, and I was like, and I wasn't even buying there, but I was like, I stood up for the older woman, and I was like, I yelled at the woman back, and I said, "You're not gonna treat this woman like that. You gotta show respect." So I am like, I wouldn't consider that a fight, but I am like a person that I will speak up and I will show, I will be strong. Like you may think that I'm fighting, but I am not, because me fighting is different energy. I will attack you if I'm fighting. Um, but if I'm speaking up or protecting somebody, I don't consider that a fight, but it could be considered a fight. That
So
makes
it's
sense?
a kind of like stubborn kind of nature. Are you a stubborn person?
Stubbornness?
Yeah.
Oh, stubbornness is different. Stubbornness when I don't want to. I'm just like a horse. Like if I see black, I see black, and I'm not gonna be open to see white. That's kind of stubbornness. But when it comes to like fighting, it's more of a protection. Not letting yourself be taken advantage of. Standing up for your for your right, and standing up for other people who may be weak. I'm very strong. I don't know if you can tell that, but I'm really like strong. Um, I show up very strong to people. Some people call me that I'm too intimidated sometimes. Like I'm too intimidated. Like I'm like, oh, okay. you know. So I'm nice at the same time. Like I'm very like loving, caring, and grounded, and nurturing. But in occasions, I will show up very strong.
And second house, there is Moon and Ketu is staying. That is Dhana. So the Dhana, which means that your income, okay, your money or your asset or the wealth,
Mm-hmm.
Wealth is like it comes from the moon, which means that the caretaking capability of you will actually bring income to you. Like if you empower on that thing, it will actually help you to uh, generate more money, you know.
So
I
if I
hope I.
work with the moon, it help me to generate more money. That's what I'm hearing.
Moon is like the ability. Moon is the planet which stands for mother. Okay,
Mm.
so mother means your ability to caretake. Okay.
Yeah, that's it kind of resonates because what I do for my work is like pretty much have that nurturing mother energy in a sense of like holding space at the same time. Like there's that energy there where you caretake people, like taking care of people, helping people, um, helping them through, even in somatic work. That's one of the biggest things. That's one of my biggest. I would say that people can feel through touch, like through my somatic work, they can feel so much energetically. And I would say that's a big part of my business. Like that's a big part of my income. So yeah, it's like you're right on it.
Um, so Randra Bhava, there is Rahu. Um, so Rendra is your enemy. So Rahu is like uh, if you do you get any kind of dreams?
Dreams
Yeah, dreams.
every day. Every day, and I dream them. Like people ask me like, oh my God, your dreams are so vivid and so live and so real. I'm like, I can tell you what I dreamed the last night so vividly that it's like colors and smells and taste and touch. It's like I'm sometimes I feel like I'm lucid dreaming, but I'm just out of my body a lot, or in another dimension. But yes, when I'm in dream stage, it's like very vivid dreams.
So can you just elaborate what you actually accept? Just color, smells, and taste?
When it comes to colors in my dreams,
Yeah.
well, it seems like I'm actually like in life. Like I'm like my dreams many times look like I'm in real life. That I can feel the touch, like somebody touching me in the dream. I can feel it in my body. I can feel the sensation. Like sometimes, like if I feel in my dream, I'm like I feel scared or I'm like nervous or I'm crying. I can feel myself. I can have that physical sensation. When it comes to taste, like sometimes like I'm drinking these I'm drinking something, I'm eating the delicious food, and I can feel like I can taste the blueberries or the strawberries. I can taste the water. I can feel it in my body, in my actual physical body. I can so it's kind of like I can feel like I'm tasting, and then when I'm like coming out of my dream, like I go into the space where I know that I'm dreaming and I'm watching myself dreaming, and sometimes I'm a dreaming within a dream, and sometimes I'm dreaming that I'm dreaming, and those are the more profound ones because I know that I'm watching myself dreaming. In my dream, I'm doing something else, and I had to wake up from that dream to come to this, to get up with this dream, so I can come back from it. I tell you, I have these more fascinating experiences when it comes to dreaming, and sometimes I wake up like with so much energy, and sometimes I wake up like so drained out because something traumatic happened in a dream, and sometimes I wake up like crying hysterically. Where I had to wake up my partner, and my partner's like, "Oh, what happened?" And I tell her the whole story, and he's like, "Oh my God, that's how you dream." It's like a whole book. It's like a whole movie, And one of the things I become aware is that I cannot watch anymore or read anything that is too traumatic or too psychological disturbing, because it will make my dreams, I would travel to that realm of dimension of my dreams, and it would not be pretty. I would be crying and scared, and when I wake up. So that's one of my boundaries that I have when it comes to what I interact with every day in my life, even when it comes to the news or when it comes to movies. I would say like people are like, oh, you always watch romantic movies. I'm like, yeah, because those are the movies that they don't make me dream weird stuff.
So there is a kind of occult energy that is being staying on enemy house on your particular chart. That may
Mm-hmm.
be disturbing you through the vivid dreams, which is like it's like it's giving a hint to your past life and things like that. So basically, it's actually connected to your subconscious thing of
Mm-hmm.
this eighth house, which actually signifies life. So through meditation you could actually eliminate that kind of things, like which I have spoken about the nakshatra yoga na? So that kind of things can actually help you to eliminate this particular if it is disturbing you a lot. Otherwise, if you like it, you can just enjoy it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Karma Baba, there is Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn is staying. So Venus and Jupiter. Venus is the planet of pleasure, happiness, and art, sexuality, all those things. So your karma bhava, there is Venus is staying. So this is like your art, your exposure, your sexuality, all those things are your part of your job. And Jupiter is also staying along with that, which means that um, you are doing it very wisely. And Saturn is the planet which also along with that, and you are trying so hard to play these roles very wisely and through very hard work way. That is staying on the karma bhava. You clear about that?
Repeat that again. Explain that again. So
So what's that?
yeah, go ahead.
You go first. You tell me what.
No, so when it comes to the aspect of sensuality and the element where Venus represents sensuality and what else, it seems like I am the doing it wisely. Is that what I think I'm hearing?
What is
Like
that?
presenting the role wisely. That I'm like doing the role of sharing sensuality in a wise way. Like that's what I want to understand a little bit.
Yeah, that is yeah, you are trying to share the sexuality in wise way.
Oh, okay. So yeah, because I resonate with that. That's what I'm like. I don't know if you understood that from like the beginning. Like I am about sharing the power of conscious sexuality and tantra and the power of conscious alchemy and orgasmic tantric orgasmic experiences in a way that it is that it was profound and also a chemical transformation for people, and it's not just like one shot thing. It's like, I'm very cautious, like I'm very careful about sharing too much. That's why the simplicity for me is very important, and that's why I think like that's the wise part of me, because I can tell you that I so many times when I see other people sharing too much of it, like too much sexuality and too much, um you know i I can see myself that is like, well, I cannot do it that way. It got to be another way to share it. I cannot share it that, too raw. It got to be another way that it can invite all many people and not scare people, because that's the problem with sharing about sexuality, because it has been so oppressed for so many millenniums that we can't just share it in a very abruptive raw way. It still had to be in a very, I feel like it can be done in a very nurturing way, and in a way that it invite people instead of reject people, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I resonate with the wise part. of sharing sexuality and sensuality.
So
Okay.
the what's that?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. On the 11th house, there is Labha, which means that there is Sun and Mercury is staying on the 11th house. So the gain from your life will be like Mercury and Sun, which is like the light. Yeah, you will come to the light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that is the gain of your life. Okay.
And
That
that's lava.
uh,
That's lava.
Labha. Labha is the gain.
Lava.
Yeah. So we
Okay.
have saw the nakshatra and now coming to. So Saturn is your high energy planet, which means that you are very hardworking in nature.
Very what? Hot, high energy?
High energy planet is Saturn, so which means that you are very hardworking person in nature.
Harvesting person.
Hard working. Do you
Oh,
refer?
hard working. Oh my gosh, yes. Tell me about that. That's not new on me. I'm a hard worker. I have people that they tell me that I'm a hustle, that I hustle too much. And I'm like, yes, I do. I'm a very hard worker.
Yeah, you
I
can.
just had a baby 5 weeks ago, no, 6 weeks ago, and I was working even in the day of delivery. Not at the time of delivery. I was doing, because of my work, I can work online, and I have to do some run events and like tickets and things like that. And the day after I delivered the baby, the day of the baby was born, I was actually doing the counting of the event that I was done the day before. So I'm a nonstop. Like, I take my time to rest and everything, but I am, I'm a really hard worker.
So there is a seven-faced Rudraksha which you could wear for the to accelerate your hardworking nature. The seven-faced
Mm-hmm.
Rudraksha, which is actually, if you visit in this particular link, you can actually see how it looks like.
Okay.
So right now, Jupiter is ruling planet for you, which means that Jupiter is staying. Um, Jupiter is staying on Karma Bhava. So this time, nowadays you will be you the work which you have done approximately 7 plus 7 14 14 24 24 plus 8 32 till the age of 32. At the age of 32 or 30 32 33 or 34, in a this time there has uh, I mean 31, okay, 31, 32, 33 or 34. In this 4 years of time, there was a big, diversion in your life has happened, okay, in this particular time. And that made you to more wiser. And you are acting on the wisdom which bought in at the time of 32, 33, 34, in that 31 to 34, this time span into life now.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
So this is all about your chart. Do you have any questions about your chart?
Nope. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about the dates, that the years that you told that the portals open up to more wiser stuff around 32, 33, 34, and 31. Yeah, that's when I that's when I interested, because that's when a lot of things happened and shifted in my life, and I even left. I left my husband. I left an abusive relationship. I moved to Florida. I took, I literally radically shifted everything in my life. And yeah, You got on a nail.
Anything else you want to share?
No, so good. Like, it's interesting. I love the peacock. I love the yeah, that was a good one. I resonated a lot with the moon part, um, and the Venus aspect of like sharing wisely, element of sensuality or sexuality, yeah, even just all the aspect of self, not just that. I think yeah, I'm gonna look into the links for the some of the meditations. I think like the yoga that you have
Yeah,
in there, right?
yeah.
That's what you said. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll share you all those details to you. Like, I'll share the username and password to access for that thing. So, do you want to say something to the people who are watching this particular podcast?
Something that I would like to say. I first of all, I want to thank you for sharing your wisdom on this. And another thing is, I would definitely invite individuals of that are watching and listening to this podcast to give themselves permission to get to know themselves a lot more. That there's so much more about themselves that, you know, what we think that we know, it's like so little, so little of the, you know, the amazing beings that we are. And you know, to tap into practices, meditation, yoga practices, tantric practices, or whatever the practices that they resonate with, to to awaken those parts of themselves, to awaken those parts that allow us to bring this wiser self into the world, this compassionate self, this loving self, this orgasmic self that is all about creation and evolution, and expansion, and give ourselves permission to be expansive creative beings living in abundance and joy, happiness and prosperity. And that all of that is there for us. It's not limited. Our mind keep it limited to us because we fall into all these illusions, belief and ideas and stories. But when we really get into our heart, into our body, into our soul, we know that we're limitless, and everything that you desire in life is achievable because you have the power within you to achieve it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we'll catch up soon. I'll send you the links for you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then,
Thank you.
yeah. Bye.
Bye.